Matt Smith can hold his own. He does tend to boot furniture over it. He turns at about 3 or 4 in the morning. This is Noel Gallagher, and I am at Radio X, of course. And you will be listening to me and my mate, Matt Morgan, for the next... don't know how long. It depends how long we can be bothered doing it. But it'll be for a while. We're going to play some tunes and talk some nonsense. And generally try and get up people's noses. So we should start by playing a tune then, right? So we're going to start by listening to a track called 7 Wonders of the World by Prince Buster. And I've only just got into this tune. And you'll find when you're listening to this, you'll go, hang on a minute, this is bloody nearly identical to Ghost Town by The Specials. This is 7 Wonders of the World by Prince Buster. 7 Wonders of the World by Prince Buster. What do you reckon?
I mean, I like it. I hear what you're saying about the Ghost Town, right? Right. It's just in that vibe. It's not like
it's the organ and the brass. It doesn't actually sound that much like Ghost Town. So, okay. Now, so what we're doing here is Radio X have asked me to come on to promote my I don't know why I'm promoting it because it's already been to number 1. So frankly, who cares, right? So they've asked me to come on and I think promote their radio station more than promote my album, if I'm being honest.
I think it goes both ways.
I don't think so. Has Radio X ever had a number 1 album? I don't think so. And they're going to be asking me some of your questions. Going to be taking some calls. Apparently, we're going to be listening to some of your voices asking me questions, which will be unsettling. But we're going to start. Are we going to start by taking a question now?
Yeah, let's have a question from one of the.
Okay, well, I don't know what these questions are, so don't look at me like, I'm going to read it out. I've got no idea.
No,
I can guarantee you one of these questions is going to mention the Beatles, Oasis crisps, hair products, chocolate.
All the big stuff, all the things that you're known for. Right, let's have a question. I think it's interesting to hear someone's voice because normally it's just like a text or an email.
Are we going to do? They're actually going to read the questions out.
You're going to hear them.
Right, so I've got to put these headphones on.
Put your headphones on. It's going to be exciting.
Let's do it.
Dirk, and I wanted to ask whether you prefer playing indoors or outdoors and why.
Derek, it depends what I'm playing. Whether I like playing indoors or outdoors. Rock and roll concerts, indoors are better. Playing the Fool, outdoors.
Always.
Yeah.
Football,
playing...
footy, as you like to call it.
Please don't call it footy.
I don't know what your problem is with footy.
It's offensive. It's more offensive than the word latte, and what's the other thing I find? Latte is one of the most offensive words ever, but footy is right up there. And soccer.
Noel's got a real problem. He's got a real problem with me liking football in any way because I was never an established football fan. But if I use the word footy, look at what's happened to me.
Yeah. It properly winds me up though.
Yeah, latte, you can't have a go at that. That's a different language. It's
difficult for a Mancunian to say because we don't tend to pronounce our T's.
Latte.
Or latte. Yeah. Indoors or out doesn't really bother me one way or the other. I suppose the best vibe would be indoors, but the most money would be outdoors. That's usually the way it works.
But surely if you're at a festival...
Yes.
And you look out and it's just like that isn't
a
that
sea
better?
Of pound notes.
Yeah.
A sea of £10, £50 notes.
So basically it comes down to money if you're indoors or outdoors.
Not particularly. I don't mind playing indoors. It's got a certain charm to it. There's more of a vibe sound-wise. But outdoors, girls in crop tops.
Yeah.
Men in sombreros.
You've never been...
in the Midlands.
Like...
on a Tuesday.
Like Guns N' Roses.
Doesn't get much better than that, mate.
Sorry,
but bucket hats,
talk about girls
sunglasses and maracas outdoors.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But there is, with big rock bands, when the girls, you couldn't do it these days, but when they were on people's shoulders and they got their boobs out and they were on the mega screens and stuff.
Yes.
That wasn't an Oasis thing, was it?
Well, yeah. Liam would always ask for a release. A release of the glands.
Really? During the gig?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Release the glands.
Release the boobies, please.
Or I'm going.
Yeah. I always found it very uncomfortable, me having a daughter and all that.
But it's nowadays that would seem like the most Motley Crue sexist thing ever, wouldn't it? If he was asking.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether you know this. Oasis wasn't a very politically correct or sophisticated band.
No, but like now.
Oh,
now.
now.
If you did that now, it'd be like, he said this, he made the girls do it.
Yeah, that which is one of the reasons why Oasis will never get back together, because we could never, ever see a young pair of breasts in an audience, and frankly, what would be the point?
Yeah.
What would be the point?
Well, there has to come a time when you put your boobs away and...
Well, I see you put yours away, which
finally,
which thankfully is a good thing.
Well, that was nice hearing someone's voice, wasn't it?
Yeah. Should we have another one?
Yeah, let's have another one. Right. You can choose, Neil. Just press a button.
Hi, Noel. If you could spend a day in the life of anybody, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Is that John Sim? That sounds like John Sim.
It sound like John Sim, but no.
It sound like John
Unless he's
Sim.
using a pseudonym of David.
David. Hi, David. You could have a minor career as a John Sim sound-alike for a Halifax advert or something. You know what I mean? What was his question?
He was asking, in the voice of John Sim, who would you like to spend a day in the life of and why? I guess as them.
Alive or dead?
Alive or dead. But they're alive when you're doing it. Otherwise it'd be boring.
Yeah. I'm going to go for some astronaut, and would be like Neil Armstrong.
Well, he's just a doddery old bloke now.
Well, not all right. Well, then I'd be living the day that he landed on the moon, wouldn't I?
Oh, right.
Or maybe an astronaut. Let me think now. Or like maybe, I said he was reading that book called Running the Show about the British Empire. And they used to, when they owned all these like mad islands, not like the big, when they had India and all that, but they owned like lots of little islands that were just like the size of Timperley, right, in the Pacific Ocean. And they just send civil servants out to run them. And when they'd arrived, the locals would think they were like arriving gods. And they were just like guys who were like working in, up the street there with clipboards. And the book is about these guys who were mental, like, and
What, like
9
Apocalypse
wives and all
Now?
that kind of stuff.
Like Apocalypse
went mad.
Now, like
Yeah. Yeah, went crazy. So maybe a day in the life of a civil servant on an island in the Pacific at the height of the British Empire, or Neil Armstrong, or...
The problem with you being Neil Armstrong was because you'd be him. You wouldn't know any of his training or how to use the equipment. It would have just been a very sad story about a man dying on the moon.
I'm not just going to pop up like on Star Trek and pop up in the seat beside Buzz Aldrin and him say, "Where's Neil?" And like, "Oh, I'm taking over for the
You're
day."
in his body. It's like Quantum Leap.
Yeah, but I'd live through him, so I'd know the training.
Right, okay.
What would yours be? Yours would be something stupid like Frankie Howard.
Do you know what I'd really like to see is how they built the pyramids? So I'd like to be the chief pyramid builder.
Darby, but listening to this, Matthew is a confirmed believer in aliens and believes they've been here and all that nonsense. So surely you must believe that aliens built the pyramids, right?
I don't think they did. There's some weird things about the pyramids, like how did they get the joints? So
I've been to the Great Pyramid in
you
Giza.
climbed on it? Have you been in it?
I have been in it, yes.
Have you?
Yeah.
What did
I
you
went
feel?
in the 90s. And yeah.
Flicking V's.
Yeah. Downtown. I went to Cairo for the weekend. Like one.
Cairo.
Yeah. When you see the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx and they're great shots, but if the camera ever goes the other way and looks back on it, there's a Pizza Hut and a KFC on the thing, which I found amazing. But the pyramid, the Great Pyramid, and going inside it is staggering.
Really?
It's staggering.
Did you have a sense of? Did you have any sort of spiritual experience?
Not really. No, it's just something I'd always wanted to see. And I probably didn't, like most things in the 90s, I didn't appreciate it at the time. Because I was mad for it. Right? And so I didn't really appreciate, like meeting David Bowie. I didn't really appreciate meeting David Bowie in the 90s.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I was kind of like, all right, mate. What's going on? It's like, oh. Hello. But there's a lots of things I'd like to do from the 90s again. Going to the pyramids, but we won, but a bit dodgy going to Egypt now, innit? No offence to any Egyptians listening, but...
All right, well, let's flip David's question slightly. What day of your life would you like to live as you now?
What, relive a day?
Yeah, it's like being at the pyramids, meeting David Bowie, stuff like that.
Meeting David Bowie, I'd like to relive that day. That'd be great. Let me see. There was so many great days and like amazing jaw-dropping moments in the 90s. Maybe the day I wrote Don't Look Back in Anger, as I have no recollection of it whatsoever.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I would like to read. I know I wrote it in Paris after being at a strip club. I know that much, but I don't know anything else about it. The day I wrote Supersonic, just off on the hoof in the studio, that'd be great. Or I don't know. I was quite fat in the 90s. Towards the end of the 90s, just drinking loads of Fanta and eating loads of KFC.
There's room.
I'd like to live one of those days again. A bit like, the Alan Partridge sketch where he's on Toblerone.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit like. Because I was extremely happy. I was full of fried chicken and fizzy drinks.
Really? Is that like before you had someone? Well, you didn't have a chef or anything. So what were you eating?
Chef.
What did you eat in the 90s? Just takeaways?
Yeah, just takeaways. Well, everything changes after 30, doesn't it? The old metabolism slows down, and you go, oh, hang on a minute. Is that my thighs rubbing together? That's an odd experience. Maybe I should go to the gym. But I didn't actually go to the gym until I was well into my 40s.
I was, 30, I reckon, when I hit the gym first time.
Right.
It just seemed like a mad thing to do, and then... Yeah.
I only went because I had a bad back and a medical expert said you should start going to the gym. Anyway, I started going and I couldn't bloody stop.
What, you got addicted to it?
You do get addicted to it, don't you?
Yeah. What do you do at the gym? We've talked about this before, but...
What do I do at the gym?
Embarrass you about it.
I go up 1, 2, down 1, 2. Then the other sock. And then I'm done by then. I was in the gym this morning for the first time since November. Yeah, and it was brutal.
What do you do though? That's what I keep trying to ask.
I get on the bike.
Yeah.
Ride around the gym, ringing the bell. Bib bib. So I get on the bike for about an hour, listen to music.
That's too long.
And why?
That's just too long. An hour on a bike.
Yeah, but I'm listening to music that I'm writing, so I'll be listening to where my new album is at the moment, right. and coming up with ideas for that, and then play a bit of hopscotch, bit of a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
Thrust a hot towel down the front of my shorts as a treat at the end. Just normal things, stretching.
Basically, he won't tell us what he does in the gym.
Well, it's not. Well, I don't have a personal trainer, so I don't know the correct terms for it. But I go there and I do a bit, and I do a plank.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. How long?
What's your plank time?
Oh, I'll have to stop at a minute.
Yeah,
I get bored.
I think I got to 2 minutes once, but
I get bored after that.
Have you ever done that challenge?
Walk the plank?
No, that's Pirates. It's like a plank, but you go down. It's that Moby song, when it goes up Sally, down Sally. Right, I sound mad, but it's a real thing. Google it, Neil. There's a song by Moby, which will probably be on the system, and it goes, you have to go up when it says up, and then you go down into a plank. It's so hard.
See, I never went to college.
I didn't learn about college. The Army do this.
Get into stupid games like that.
SAS do it.
Like, let's have a shot every time someone says, kid.
No, honestly, it's a real thing. And it's a challenge. Like, I lasted about a minute.
Right.
It's like 2.5 minutes.
Do you go to the gym now?
I've got a gym in my house.
What?
Like a room of my house
What?
that's got my gym equipment in it.
Oh, hang on a minute. So you've got some gym equipment in a room in your house. It's not like a gym with mirrors in it and
loads of
like
customers.
A drinks machine.
No, it's like I've got
loads of fit birds in spandex.
No, unfortunately, it's just a little room. But I've got like weightlifting stuff, a Peloton bike, one of them.
Oh yeah. I don't like doing weights. I don't like muscles.
You'd love them, really.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
If you were like ripped, you'd love it.
No, I wouldn't.
When you were on Bono's yacht. Oh, these are the things.
See, but I don't eat a lot. I don't have a great appetite. So I don't really I'm not really For someone who's not been to the gym since November,
Yeah, you're pretty
I'm
slim.
a little bit of a Trimbolina, aren't I?
Yeah.
Really?
But why did you? Because you used to eat a lot, surely.
Yeah, I don't know what after. Maybe it's an age thing. You get older, you lose more weight, don't you, when you get older? You don't get fatter as you get older. Right. We'll play a tune. This is a tune by Denny Lane.
Denny Lane, there was a...
Yeah, Denny Lane, who was in... who ended up in Wings, I believe. And this is one of the best songs ever. This is called Say You Don't Mind. Denny Lane there. Say You Don't Mind. That's a funky name, Denny, innit?
Yeah, Denny.
Do you think he was called... I think he was called Dennis. And it was like in the swingy 60s. What, Denny, mate?
Or like the French, Denis. Like Denis. Which, like...
I thought... Blonde, that tune by Blondie.
Yeah.
I thought they were French for years.
Who, Blondie?
Yeah.
Did you?
I didn't realise they were from New York.
Mm.
Oh, because she sang in French. But that was Denny Lane, So You Don't Mind.
Let's find out what his name was.
A magnificent tune. We're going to find out what his real name is.
Denny Lane was... Do you know what his name is? Brian Frederick Hines.
Brian Frederick Hines.
But it's Hines like the British spelling, not Hines. As
Oh,
in Heights.
Heights.
But Denny must have... I mean...
What did you think of the tune? Oh, great song. Oh, you
It's
weren't really
alright in a
listening.
sort
You
of
weren't listening
60s
to
way.
it. You weren't listening to it.
I wasn't fully focused on it.
You were fiddling with your notes. So we're going to talk about my new history-making, record-breaking album, which is out now, available, although it's selling like hotcakes.
Mm.
And
Can't really sell out that kind of in the digital
not
world.
anymore. But eventually there'll be none left.
I don't think it works like that. It's digital, so just...
Now, people,
I don't want to break this to you, but...
there'll be no streams left. There'll be none left of Wonderwall soon.
Yeah, no, that did really well. It's just dried up. The data just died.
It's streamed out. Yeah. It's streamed out.
Well, that's good, isn't it? To have a number one album that's a best of.
Well, I tell you what, right? Out of all the records I've had out, when I found out that one had gone to number one, I guess I'm more proud of that than all the others because it was such a surprise.
Mm.
And I was it made me reevaluate a lot of things about my band. It's made me think of us in a different way now.
There can be some
Like
sackings.
we've been accepted almost. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Not like fans that have been with us from the beginning, but like fans will have all those tunes anyway, and the 2 extra tracks were already available before the album came out. So it must be like casual. Gallagher's got a best of out.
I might as well pick that
Yeah,
up.
I might get that. Played at the Polo this weekend.
It'd be interesting to know how many like fans weren't Oasis fans because they've just come to your band now because they're younger.
They're rare. They're like the golden unicorn, but there are some of them about.
Really?
Who, I've met 1 or 2 who prefer the old high-flying birds to Oasis. I quickly let them join my band. No, it's been a very, very surprising success.
So will it change where you're going in the future? Has it made you think differently? In that
No,
way?
not in musical terms. It's made me think, hang on a minute, I thought we were, this is going to sound rubbish on the radio because I'm about to signify this in a hand gesture.
Okay,
But I didn't think we were that popular.
Right.
I thought we were kind of that big, and now I'm thinking we're probably that big.
Okay, so just go back to the first one. That was about A4 size piece of paper.
And that was like that was the length of one of your scripts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
that's
he's
the magic
extended
of the
that
high-flying
to,
birds
I would
there.
say,
But-
a child's baseball bat.
Yeah. Why do they make children's baseball bats? Is it for underage violence, do you think?
Well, there's a lot of theories that the undersized baseball bat is the perfect home protection weapon.
It is. I used to have one under the bed in my flat in Manchester. It was a metal one, and I had to get rid of it once I married a Scottish person.
Didn't need it anymore.
Well, you know what they're like when they've had a drink.
Was it ever used in anger?
Well, no, 'cause I got rid of it.
Yeah.
So I just took that out of the equation. So I'm not having the baseball bat while she's around.
How did you get rid of it? Just in the bin?
I've hid it somewhere. Should it ever go off?
Yeah.
But she don't know where it is, you see.
Hang on, I'm quite interested in that. So you had a baseball bat under the bed. Was that Fame years?
No. This was
pre-Fame. I thought that was like,
These were the wilderness years.
Right.
The years of, I wouldn't really say it was wilderness years. I was happy, but I was...
I was happy, but I did have a baseball bat under my bed.
But I was broke.
What
and
were
I
you
used to look at my
defending?
television and think, I'm not satisfied with the size of this television. Pass me that bloody guitar. Let's see what we can do about this. But no, it's made me reevaluate my band, and I thought we were good, but now I think we're great. So thanks, boys and girls.
Made him more arrogant.
Oh, girls
well
and
done.
boys. And I couldn't be any more arrogant. It's difficult for me though, because I'm not. I sound arrogant to you, right? Because you're a lowly little gag writer for little known comics.
Yeah.
But if you were me, I wouldn't seem arrogant. I don't seem arrogant.
You don't
to
seem
me.
arrogant to yourself.
No. Should I?
No, I think you're not really, because I know you're.
Well, you know
better
me.
than that,
Yeah,
right?
you know
So
me.
you're not
anyway,
as
yeah.
arrogant as you make.
Yeah,
out.
I like to come across as arrogant because I think people expect it of me.
Yes.
And I like that. I like that people think I'm a bit of a see you next Tuesday. I like that.
But he's not really.
I'm
Even
not
though
really.
you did call me a lowly little gag writer.
You are. What's the best gag you've written?
Can't say it here.
Well, what's the best one that you can say here?
Don't focus on me. This is about you and your
That's right.
historical
Damn right. is it?
record.
Should we have another question
Yes,
from
go
these
on.
characters that are listening?
This is just going to elicit more arrogance from Leo.
Hi, Noel. My name is Leo. I'm from Brazil. And I'd very much like to know, in your opinion, which of your solo tunes is the most underrated? I'd probably go with The Right Stuff and Black and White Sunshine, but I'd really like to know what's your take.
Was that a digital person?
Thank you, Leo. Leo's from Brazil.
He sounded digital.
Oh, what do you mean?
What
It
sort
didn't
of
sound
like,
real.
It sounded like that. It sounded like Siri.
Tell us, what is your favourite song?
Yeah, like he's AI. Might have fans. In
Leo's
the AI
not a
world.
robot. My most underrated tune, I've got a tune called Alone on the Rope, which is a tune for the connoisseur. I rarely play it because it goes down like a knackered lift when I play it.
Right.
So every time I play it, I'm like, oh, people are going to love it. Because like 3 people on the way into the gig will say, you playing Alone on the Rope tonight? And you go, you know what? I'm going to play that tonight. And it bring the house down. Sadly, it never does. There's kind of like people like, what's this?
Didn't you say that you think people think it's about suicide and it's not?
Yeah, no, it's I wrote it after watching that documentary about Man on the Wire.
Right.
Man on the Wire, Alone on the Rope. I give it a
The
little.
man on the way, he's walking, but he's like
He's a tightrope.
walker.
Tightrope
Right,
walker.
okay.
Have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't
It's a
actually.
brilliant
Was it
documentary.
between the two twin towers?
I think it was, wasn't it? I think it was.
Something like that.
Something like that. Some tall building. If he fell off, he would have injured himself.
Right.
But it's not about. Lots of people say to me, "Is that song about suicide?"
About what other songs? or
Yeah,
just that?
like yeah. And I always kind of weirds me out a little bit. None of them are about suicide. But I do get asked about that a lot. And another thing I get asked a lot is why some of these great songs end up as B-sides and why they're not on albums. And how is that not on an album? And the reason is most of them are written after I finished an album, and then you get to the B-sides, and then you get that moment where you write a great song and the album's already pretty like, and then the reason why they're not on the best of is because I perversely like to leave tunes for people to discover for themselves, like a little Easter egg hunt, where people can go, hang on a minute, what's that? What's that tune? I've never heard that tune before. This is amazing. It's about suicide.
Does it annoy you if people like or not that they would tell you what your song's about, but people misinterpreting things.
No, because if it annoyed me, I'd tell them exactly what it's about. I don't mind people misinterpreting it because they're open to, because I don't really know what they're about half the time anyway.
Right.
I'm only fishing for the first line, and then everything follows that. I only really know, I'd say 75% of the songs I've written, I only really know what they're about once I've finished writing them, and I'll go, oh, that seems to be about sausages.
Are they all about something, or are some of them just...
I guess the ones that happen quickly, the ones that come all in one go, must be coming from somewhere. Something in your subconscious is expressing that. Whereas the ones that you chip away at, one line, some lines in the songs don't really follow the other one. They don't make any sense. But, but I'd say, to answer your question, Leo, from Brazil, have you ever been to Brazil?
No, never.
It's an amazing country. Really, far out.
Good crowds in it, South America.
The best. It's one of the things that I look forward to the most, is going to South America. Brazil, Argentina, oh my God. I'd say if push comes to shove, probably the best fans in the world.
Really?
Up there, the Japanese are great, and the Italians, and of course you British guys are amazing, never forget that.
Who's bad? Who's like, oh God, we've got to go to that? Can't really say that, can you?
Never been truly accepted by the cheese eaters in Scandinavia. They've always had a problem with me, and Oasis.
What, so the whole of Scandinavia?
Pretty much, yeah. Never actually set foot in Finland as a band. I don't know what's wrong with you, Mob. You missed out though. Never. Yeah, there was. Was never really popular in Spain either.
Really? I would have thought Spain.
I think it was the parka. They were like, "Ay caramba."
What?
Why?
Was he wearing a coat?
Why he wear bedspread? They're only flip flops and shorts riding scooters around it on a Tuesday.
You and Liam didn't wear parkas in Spain, surely. You didn't commit to the parka that
Well,
much.
I didn't know.
He does love a coat, doesn't he, Liam?
A below the knee coat, yeah.
Fishtail parka.
Yeah. I've always thought I've been photographed in them. Okay, I know that. I get that. Never felt comfortable in them. I'd wear one, not like the fishtail parkas are awful, but wear a similar kind of thing to Glastonbury if it's...
Aren't they military? They're sort of army clothing, aren't they?
It's something to do with Canadians, isn't it? The Canadians. I don't know why they've got a fish's tail, though. I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, if you ever get the chance to go to Brazil, check it out.
Yeah.
Wonderful place.
Food's amazing, probably.
The food is... I went to a bar once in the 90s in Brazil, and it had, you go to bars, a bowl of nuts or mints maybe. This had bowls of condoms on the bar. Oh, what a night.
Bit chewy.
What, I fucking got balloons in this bar for?
After about the fourth one, I grew to love it.
Right, let's play another tune. I'm going to say we play Dimples by the Del Reys. I like this tune because I like the way the guy sings the second verse. It makes me laugh out loud. Do you want to hear it?
I want to hear it, and we'll put that to the test.
Dimples by the Del Reys. There. The
was
Del
funny.
Reys.
I laughed out loud at his
Dimples.
voice.
You did laugh out loud, and you rocked your head back and kicked your leg in the air.
Slapped my belly.
You did indeed. Yes.
Yeah, why is he singing like that? He's sort of cartoonish.
Well, I don't. Well, mate, it sounds like it was the 50s or the early 60s, and they were just wild, crazy cats.
I have to say, a lot of your music choices here aren't particularly troubling any time past the sort of Suez Canal crisis.
Well, you expecting me what to play? The Blue Tones and the Stone Roses.
No, I'm just saying, like, is that you don't have to be defensive.
Well, this is the music I listen to.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that like useful for writing? Like, is that where you're sort of
that one, for instance, I would probably if I'm doing a tune, I'd say to my engineer, that guitar sound, I'm terrible at getting sounds in the studio. I'd say, how do we get that guitar sound? And my engineer, strange boy, Stacey, is exceptional at getting guitar sounds. So yeah, but I don't listen to indie music. Do you listen to indie music?
No, you don't.
Do you, Neil? You do? Okay, you have to because you work here, don't you? No, it's rare I listen to indie music.
When was the last time you listened to the Stone Roses? Like put an album on?
Well, I was listening to Fool's Gold the other day. Wouldn't class that as indie music, but listen to that album all the way through. I've not listened to that album all the way through for years. Although Sarah was listening to it the other day and she said, my God, she hadn't heard it for years and it's amazing. But I actually might do that. I might do that tomorrow because that first track, I Want to Be Adored, is really brings me back to those early gigs. They've always came onto that tune, always.
Right.
And when my old mate Manny used to play that bass line, it was kind of haunting and it would put me right back in the International when they were, I mean, I've always said this, but they were the greatest band I've ever seen in a nightclub, ever. They were unbelievable at the time.
Were you a roadie then? Were you in the music business?
No, I wasn't in the game when I first seen them, but they were in what's regarded as their goth period.
Yeah.
It's
that like John Squire being arty-farty and Jesus American?
Well, the Manchester look, I'd say they were the last people to adopt that in Manchester.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When Manny joined, Manny looked like us, and they looked like rock stars, like 80s rock stars. And then as the drugs changed, it all changed. You know, everything went a bit baggy.
Yeah.
But I first seen them in the International One when there was hardly anyone there, and I mean they were amazing then, and they had two guitarists then. I think a guy called Andy Cousins, but they were the best band I've ever seen in a nightclub ever. Although Oasis are pretty good indoors in little nightclubs when we started, we'd push them close.
But when you were watching the Stone Roses then, were you like, oh, I want to do that, I want to get up there, or were you just a fan?
No, I never had any. No. I always thought, right, that somehow I was destined to be involved in music, but I couldn't really play the guitar, and I didn't have any ambitions to write or anything like that. But I was really into music, and when I met Graham Lambert from the Inspiral Carpets, and I ended up working for them, I thought that was it. I thought, oh, my destiny has come true, and I settled for that. It was great, and then I got fired for being a little bit cheeky to the singer.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that story?
Have I told you the story?
No, I don't know the story.
So we were crossing a border. Back in the 80s, you used to have to cross. But we'll have to go through it now every time we go onto the continent now with Brexit. But we used to. We were crossing a Spanish border, and the police got on with dogs and all that kind of thing. And I remember you've been on my tour bus, right? Where you got the aisle and you've got the three bunks either side. I remember as they were getting off, having my arm on the singer's shelf on his bunk, and the little curtain went back, and he went, "Oh no way!" Was that the Rozzers? And he said, "There's the drugs on the bus," and I said, "Yeah, don't worry about it." And he said, "Where did you hide them?" And I put my hand under his pillow and said, "Under your pillow," which didn't go down too well. I was relieved of my duties at the end of that tour. But me and Mark Coyle, who ended up co-producing Definitely Maybe, was our sound engineer. Me and him got sacked at the same day. Cheeky little beggars.
How did he sack you? Like pull you in?
Oh, they just the Inspirals, because there was 5 of them. One of them would always say, "Look, it's not me, it's the other 4."
Oh, really?
And one of them would turn up.
I liked you putting drugs under my pillow. I thought that was a great prank.
Yeah, look, mate, it's not me. I love you, but it's the other 4, which is something that Oasis adopted because we had to sack a few members down the years. It'd be, "Look, mate," except I used to say, "Look, it's not the other 4, it's me. You're out." should we take a question or play a tune?
Well, we've been talking for a while. What do you want to play a tune?
Okay, right. I'm going to say that we're going to play...
Is this going to be from the 50s or the 60s?
This is going to be from the 60s. This is by Mark and the Mysterons. Or is it question mark and the Mysterons? I don't know. And it's called Do Something To Me. And it is, frankly, one of the best, most unknown tunes ever. There. Do Something To Me by question mark and the Mysterons or the Mysterians, whatever they are.
I like it.
Oh, what?
I like it. I
It's
like that song.
Mate, that's life affirming.
Yeah. It is, I know, and I like it, but like...
I mean,
it's quite
I don't know whether
gentle.
you know this, Radio X listeners, but Matt is into some really dreadful music, like black metal and
It's not black
Norwegian
metal.
punk
No.
nonsense. Yes, you are.
Norwegian, you sound like
But
such
funnily
an old
enough,
granddad.
loves I Find Birds.
Yeah. I've
Which
always
is-
liked songs like
Yeah,
Talk
which
Tonight
like when
and
you-
stuff like that.
But when you
Yeah, but I like lots of stuff. I
busting
like
out
Leonard
nonsense
Cohen
like
and Bob
Big
Dylan.
Elf, it's kind of like makes me think. Hang on a minute.
I wish I'd never sent you that Big Elf song. He
Never
never
heard it.
forgets it. The amount of things I've said.
It's pure evil, which clearly isn't. Right? It's a nonsense. It's a nonsense
Yeah,
premise
but
for a song anyway.
that little melody's stayed with you. All
Well, it
these
has,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to it repeatedly for. I mean, I couldn't get it out of my head. Money is pure evil. Anyway, should we take a question from these
Let's
listeners?
take a question.
All right, Noel. Andy Young from Ponty in West Yorkshire here. Out of all of your big shot celebrity mates, who has got the reputation for being a top slurper and all-round party animal, but actually turns out is a complete lightweight? And likewise, who has got the reputation for being mild-mannered and quiet and actually turns out to be a top?
No, I sense. What was his name?
Andy.
Andy. What did he say? What did he say? So-called celebrity. What did he say?
He's saying, which celebrity friend?
No, he said he put a little snidey thing in there, didn't he? I'm kind of sensing a bit of resentment from him there. But then again, he is from Yorkshire, so
It's
that's
hard to
understandable.
tell. It's hard to tell if they're being grumpy
Understandable.
or just...
The what?
Well, it says grumpy sounding accent, isn't it? It's hard to tell if he's... I don't think he's having a dig. I think he's just genuinely...
Play it again. I'll play it. Let me decide if he's having a pop or not.
Come on.
All right, Noel. Andy Young from Ponty in West Yorkshire here. Out of all of your big shot celebrity mates, who...
Big shot celebrity mates.
Yeah,
See,
but-
me and you. You're not a big shot. You're
a big shot.
You're a
You're a
little shot.
celebrity.
A little shot.
No, he's talking about your mates like Matt Smith, Doctor Who,
Oh, yeah.
Matthew McConaughey,
Matthew
Madonna,
McConaughey.
Lars Ulrich.
I wouldn't say Madonna was a friend of mine, but
Lars
she's an
Ulrich.
acquaintance. Lars is a good lad. Right, so his question was, out of all my mates, who's a reputation as a slurper?
An awful noise in my
That's me
headphones.
slurping. Right, so let me get this
Who
straight.
seems like a party animal, but
Actually, he's not, and who seems like only seems like they're not a party animal. But so what you'll find is, or what I found down the years, is actors have to keep it a bit low key because the job that they're in requires so much investment that studios are not going to invest in a raving party animal. So actors, you'll find, have quite lead the double life. Matt Smith can hold his own. He does tend to boot furniture over it. He turns at about 3 or 4 in the morning. He did. He's been around my house a couple of times, and he supports Blackburn Rovers, right?
Right.
And a couple of times he's kind of just does that thing where he'll drift off and then go, Rovers! And like kick a chair or something. So I've had to have a word with him a couple of times, like, mate, kick the chair again, and we're gonna have to work this out.
Hang on, so he's falling asleep.
Well, you know, like when you get so drunk,
Like
you're
a granddad after the Second World War, like who was in the war, and he sort of goes, "Yeah, they're coming,"
Rovers, yeah,
and kicks over
yeah,
a chair.
shouts out Rovers, and then boots the chair. Yeah, oh, he's turned furniture over in my house. Yeah. I mean, not in a violent way, but kind of, a bit of comedy.
Mm.
But he can hold his own. Matthew McConaughey is one of the most far out people I've ever met. Very, very funny man. Bono is... He can put a shift in. No messing. He's Irish.
Who's a hellraiser publicly that isn't?
Oh, that's a bit of a lightweight.
Yeah.
Kid. It's a bit of a charlatan.
Yeah.
There's a lot, actually. A lot of them in the game can't walk it like they talk it. It's usually those with the big mouths.
Do you mean like they are lightweights and they have to go home? They go, oh, I feel sick, I've got to go home. Or do you mean that they're just pretending to be, I once saw this band and they were drinking Jack Daniels on the stage. They were mates of ours, right? And we were there watching them. They were like drinking Jack Daniels, going, yeah. And then afterwards we were in their dressing room. And I went, can I have some Jack Daniels? And the singer went, no.
Oh, it's tea.
There was a little bit of, I drank some and it was like a bit of whiskey and mostly tea. And I thought, come on.
Yeah. Americans don't really know how to do it. I've got to say.
Don't know.
No, well, I do know.
Well,
so,
all right. What about?
Not your missus. His missus is American.
No, I was going to say an American that you know.
Who? Go on, then.
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah. He's a warrior.
All right, so let's just get on with the next bit of that question, which is who's seen as a lightweight, but it's actually
bit of a tearaway.
Bit of a monster.
Remember we were at an award ceremony once and we went out afterwards and the singer from the Kooks kind of got swept up in our entourage and he stayed the distance. Yeah, I haven't seen him since. I don't think he's made a record since either, so he could well be dead. But he put a shift in. Luke was his name.
Luke from the Kooks.
Luke Kook was his nom de plume.
Right.
Who else? The bass player from the Vaccines got caught up in a night out with us once. Still going on about it, apparently.
Really?
There is a lot of fakers in the music business because it's built on fakery. Do you know what I mean? And I'd say to the listener, all the people that you think that are usually are not, and vice versa. And then there's the chosen few in the middle who you think that are, and by God they are.
He's sort of gesturing to himself there.
I am gesturing to myself.
Well, I'm helping them out because it's on
you
radio.
Know, there's not many who can walk it like they talk it, mate.
Yeah, but I've been out with you and you have to squirrel off at 11.
Once. Once, and I'd been out since 11 o'clock that morning. You'd turn up at 6 in the evening.
Look, the thing is with all that stuff is that you got, like, some people have a mad night and then they, there's some nights where they're not so mad. So it's, I reckon there's people like Oliver Reed or someone, but it's just like across the board.
Well, apparently it wasn't that. Apparently...
Oh, don't break that myth.
Apparently alcoholics, they only need half a lager, don't they? You know what I mean? And that's it. They're gone. So, and he was an alcoholic. But we'd have to do a little X Factor next time we come on, just like throw some names and just say, lightweight, lightweight, middleweight.
What about Chris Martin? Does he...
I don't even think he drinks. I think he's more into nuts. And seeds. Only time I've ever seen seeds and pulses in a dressing room was in a Coldplay dressing room.
Really?
And I actually said to the tour manager, "What's that?" He said, "They're seeds, sunflower seeds." I was like, "What, they having a gardening class in the dressing room? What?
They're going to plant.
I didn't know you could eat sunflower seeds." And they were eating them with a straight face. Crazy.
Rock and roll. And its
Rock
many
and
mysteries.
roll.
Radio X.